We live in a world now where things can be automated and data can be searched and researched much faster, including marketing websites, labels on images from sales pages, guarantees, scarcity. All of it can be done through AI tools much faster and much more effective. Would you agree with at least that?
I would.
So is it possible that we would hit a time where not even 4 years from now where someone decides to hire a bunch of people, that someone gets the bright idea of, oh, sleazy marketers that we keep getting phone calls about, because that's not going to stop. They decide to implement stuff like this to just send out fines.
There's definitely going to be kind of the...
So, CNN Health is saying RFK is making it easier for supplement brands to operate. But is this the full story? I've worked with dozens of health and supplement companies, and I've seen firsthand how aggressive the FDA and the FTC can get when brands push the limits. So when I saw the headlines a couple of weeks ago and what it said, I knew we needed to unpack it. Ryan and I have been dying to get in this room. We're going to do a super short, super impactful episode because if you're a founder in the space, your compliance strategy might be changing fast. Hi, I'm Emma Rainville, co-founder of multiple seven-figure brands in direct response world, and I've helped scale some of the biggest supplement launches online. And I've also seen the back end of lawsuits, FDA warnings, and FTC investigation. That's why I brought my co-host and compliance expert, Ryan Poteet, who specializes in ad law, product labeling, and policy shifts just like this one. Today, we're breaking down what CNN is actually reporting about RFK's stance on supplement regulations, how this policy shift could impact the FDA enforcement, what is actually changing, and what's not. How to future-proof your marketing, labeling, and compliance. And if you're into supplements, like we are, you're going to want to stay till the end because Ryan and I created a supplements compliant field guide, your roadmap to marketing health products the right way in 2025. You can download that free by signing up for our Visionary Vault at www.specialopspodcast.com. Welcome to Marketing on Trial, a spinoff of specialops.com, where Ryan and I sit down and create actionable steps for entrepreneurs, e-commerce brands, direct response marketers, and online sellers. This is probably going to be the fastest one we've ever done, but I think it's super important because we both saw this article. I think I sent it to you, and I was like, what the heck? And so we've watched people that we know on social media for weeks now talk about this
regime change.
Thank you. And what it's going to mean and how they're going to be able to do what they want and say what they want, how they want, when they want. So let's talk about that. The RFK news that made supplement founders cheer and people like us who are going to have to clean up the mess panic. So just walk me through what they're saying and what you're thinking about it all. Because I got my own thoughts.
So RFK, the whole Trump administration has been very anti-establishment, very anti-regulatory agency.
Even though they are the establishment now.
Well, now they're gutting it. And so
We're trying.
We've seen a large amount of FDA staff be laid off in key parts of the FDA, which are really fundamental to patient safety and just the safety of all of us. But everyone has been cheering because RFK has a very, I would say, unique point of view on quite a few issues in the supplement space.
In many niches we won't get into.
Truly. And so with the downsize in the federal government, everyone is thinking that, well, if there's not enough regulators, then I can basically say what I want. I want to emphatically say that is absolutely wrong. Nothing has changed. What was the law yesterday or before Trump assumed office is the law today. We saw, and if everyone, and just for a little bit of context, when Trump was first in office, we had just as many, if not more, FTC and FDA investigations going on in the Obama administration. So this isn't going to be a fundamental shift. The law is going to stay the same. Perhaps some of the enforcement mechanisms will change.
Let's talk about that because there are a bunch of FTC and FDA attorneys, I believe, that were hired prior to.
Correct.
And they are gutting some of the agencies, but are those lawyers going away?
It's everyone.
Is it really?
It is lawyers. I mean...
But let's just unpack that for a second. So a bunch of lawyers are getting fired.
Lawyers are getting fired.
So the lawyers are going away. They're stripping down. Administrative, people who answer emails, people who do research, they're all getting stripped. They're not changing the laws or the requirements. No. So 4 years from now, when the next person gets elected and they beef it all back up because multiple people have died from not taking insulin and tons of people are suffering from all kinds of ailment because they were taking white label BS in a bottle products, and there are tons of complaints to the Attorney General, as we've seen in previous, I wouldn't say administration, time periods when they weren't so forceful enforcing the guidelines. Now someone gets in that has a hard-on for marketers again, which will happen eventually. How far back can they go?
They can go pretty far back.
So I sell for the next 4 years and I'll just take everything down. Who cares?
Yeah, not going to happen.
Right. So I think the point that I want to drive across, and I do like your points for sure, but the big point I want to drive across is, yes, perhaps for the next 4 years, people can really not worry so much about the regulations around labeling, around claims, around deceptive advertising, but everybody pays the piper eventually.
It's not just the FDA. It's the FTC, it's state attorneys generals, it's consumer protection attorneys. So yes, there might be less enforcement from the FDA.
Because there's less manpower.
Well, there's just less manpower. And so what might have ultimately culminated in a full-blown investigation or criminal enforcement action might be more of a warning letter or some other...
Might I pose an alternative?
Sure.
You're not going to like, because you're going to tell me why they won't do it. We live in a world now where things can be automated and data can be searched and researched much faster, including marketing websites, labels on images from sales pages, guarantees, scarcity. All of it can be done through AI tools much faster and much more effective. Would you agree with at least that?
I would.
So is it possible that we would hit a time where not even 4 years from now, where someone decides to hire a bunch of people, that someone gets the bright idea of, oh, sleazy marketers that we keep getting phone calls about, because that's not going to stop. They decide to implement stuff like this to just send out fines.
There's definitely going to be kind of the due process check on that.
Right.
But AI is going to be involved in some respect.
Right.
With the FTC.
Which makes the research of it and finding it so much easier and faster.
The FTC has the Sentinel database, and while that's a pretty closely guarded secret in how that all works, I would imagine that they have some sort of machine learning on the back end that is looking at all these consumer complaints and starting to draw, putting some things together. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that AI is going to change the way I think government and law enforcement.
You don't or you do?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very easy, much quicker for them.
Much quicker for them.
Yes. So the whole idea of just immediately de-indexing a site because you're worried about regulators is not going to save you.
So we are not deregulating.
No, not at all.
Anything. We are just kind of like defunding the ability to have people to go after them.
From the FDA.
But eventually, at some point, 4, 5, 6 even years from now, what you do today can come back to bite you.
Absolutely.
So let that just be a warning for all the people that I say, seeing things like they're putting the responsibility back in the consumer hands. It was an actual Facebook post. And they're going to be responsible for doing their own due diligence. No. So while CNN certainly, and I'm not going CNN, Fox either, whatever was whatever, I do want to make very, very clear is regulations have not changed. The people in power have. That means that eventually, if you do not abide by those regulations,
You're going to
pay you. You're going to pay you. They're going to pay you. By the way, Ryan Poteet is available for hire as the FDA expert attorney with Gordon Reese. So look him up. Ryan, thank you. I had to do this, and we're about to actually record another podcast. I just really wanted to touch base with you on all of this because this came out a few weeks ago now. And I haven't stopped hearing about it. I have not stopped hearing about it. And it's mind-blowing to me that educated individuals that have been in the space for a while will think that one man who is not changing the law in any way is going to change the way we do business. And I mean, honestly, that might be the case for a time. There may be people who change the way they do business for a time, but the people who want to stick around for a long time will not. Would you agree with that? All right, I'm going to wrap up. This is just a quick one that I wanted to put out there because I am seeing a lot of chatter about this. So the supplement world is always evolving, like for sure. But one bad label, one bad aggressive ad, or one unsupported claim can take your whole business down. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, maybe when the regulators all come back, who knows, but it can happen, whether the new administration says that they're not enforcing it or not, whether the new administration says they're enforcing it or not. That's why Ryan and I created the Supplement Compliance Field Guide, so that you can scale with confidence, not confusion. This includes everything from manufacturing, third-party testing, claims, labeling, you name it, the bones are in there. So download your guide at www.specialopspodcast.com. Visit our Visionary Vault and sign up. There's other tools, courses, and some other things Ryan and I wrote together. Thank you so much for joining us for this quick but serious podcast.